In fact, in each of our bodies, are still hiding the shadow of the ocean 600 million years ago. I'm sorry for the next hour. Gotta throw you to the prehistoric stone tool. To find this shadow. Earth 600 million years ago. It's a world far beyond our imagination. Scattered across all continents. Or a piece of Ya'an, the barren ruins of stone and sand. There's no grass on the ground. There are no trees standing under the sky. There are no animals or insects crawling on land. The wind howls over the endless and dead landscape. The rain initializes the bare rock. Initialized rivers and canyons, and for millions of years it would remain empty. But the ocean has a different story. Under the waves, life has begun a long and patient process of evolution. Experiment in the deep, quiet ocean. Strange shape. Soft-bodied creatures float with willows. They don't have a skeletal shell or any rigid structure. Organisms such as Dickinson jellyfish and Charliella seabed draw nutrients directly from seawater or sediment. There are also creatures that look like leaves or discs, gently fixed on the seabed, swaying with the tide. The world these creatures inhabit is extremely primitive, so much so that the concept of predator and prey almost non-existent. There were no jaws or teeth, no defensive armor wrinkles. The meaning of life. It's about living in harmony with the environment, rather than fighting it. The atmosphere above the surface is also slowly changing, but not yet to support land. The conditions for the survival of complex life. Thanks to photosynthesis, microbes have been working silently for over 1 billion years. Oxygen levels rise gradually. Oxygen produced by a large number of cyanobacterial enough to flora upset the balance of atmospheric composition. To be more dynamic, the evolution of more complex life forms creates possibilities. But the air on land is still there. Ultraviolet rays in severe solar radiation, only partially blocked by the nascent ozone layer, ruthlessly scorching the surface. It's an empty and harsh land. Waiting for life. Find your way from the ocean to the coast. The continents themselves are moving, driven by the restless forces beneath the Earth's crust. Volcanic activity is intense. Eruptions and lava flows continue to reshape the landscape. The mountains rise and are eroded by the endless rain. Vast shallow seas flood low-lying areas, creating new habitats for marine life. The Earth at that time, it doesn't depend on forests and animals to thrive, but by the slow but powerful force of geology and the silent and tenacious survival of early life. The ancient world was ruled by the microbial mat. A layer is covered in rock. Rocks are membranes of bacteria and algae on the seabed. In some areas, they also build a system called a stack, the structure of the layer stone, growing towards the sun while diving. These seemingly simple structures, it is a monument to the resilience of life. The earliest architects of life on Earth, accompanied by them. It's the larger Ediacara and Biota. They float, crawling perch, each trying a new form of survival. It's hard to imagine the magnificence of these ancient oceans. The sun shines through the clear, warm water, illuminate a garden of ghostly creatures. Their bodies are translucent and soft. Like a living shadow, willows slowly swept across the seabed, carrying food particles and oxygen. Creatures back then didn't have eyes to see. We don't have a complex enough nervous system to understand it, but life has begun to shape its environment. Open up living space, testing the boundaries of possibility. This era is known as the Ediacararchy. For tens of millions of years, this is an era of silent innovation. It is for the follow-up extraordinary moment, the stage of slow accumulation. At that time, many organisms did not leave offspring. Their peculiar body structure, forever lost in evolution. Other creatures in the long river. It may have laid the foundation for the emergence of animals in the future. But the path of evolution is anything but certain. Evolution is like a chaotic artist. Keep trying different forms, size and lifestyle. Most of these attempts, it's a dead end. The world of Ediacararchy is not paradise. Environmental pressures will still come without warning. Ice cream recurs and fades. Glaciers cover most of the planet and then retreat, leaving behind a disfigured landscape. Volcanic eruptions pollute oceans and skies. But after all this, life persists. Every challenge, both drive organisms to generate new adaptive characteristics. Every extinction, all clear the way for the rise of new life. By the end of the season at Ediacaran, about 541 million years ago, one of the most dramatic events in the history of life. The stage is set for the Cambrian explosion. Ediacara, the silent ghost creatures of the ocean. And it's filled with color. Movement and complexity replaced by new life. Predators appear. Shell forming. Eyes open. The Earth has been completely changed over billions of years. There is no forest. No birds. A world without dinosaurs and mammals. It was the beginning of life as we know it. It's the first chapter in a journey that's been going on for hundreds of millions of years. It led to what we now call home. A world full of energy and vitality. The arrival of the Cambrian, accompanied by a far-reaching change. The implications are profound. Will continue through the evolution of all life thereafter. Life for the first time at an unprecedented speed and intensity. Leap into a new stage of complexity. Once referred to perched with the slow flow, a sea of floating soft-bodied creatures. Suddenly, countless new creatures emerged. They all have very peculiar and very powerful adaptations. The oceans are alive right now. Wrap body. Body decomposition trilobite, crawling on the seabed like miniature tanks. The exoskeleton is exposed to sunlight penetrating the ocean. Some of them are predators. Some feed on corrosion. Others sift through sediment for food scraps. Shaped like worms above them. Under the banner of agile action, gliding gracefully through the water in a wavy pose. Flexible body with huge catch belly. Designed specifically for hunting, the sharpness of its compound eyes, far more than any creature before, as one of the first superpredators. Strange shrimp have revolutionized the survival pattern of life. This is yet all. Emerge unspaced ecosystems are born. Moment. For the first time, creatures need defense against attack. Shell tip. Spines and hardened body structures gradually evolved to fight predators. Mobility becomes an advantage. Various forms of eyes also began to appear. It is used to detect prey and danger, like the opal marina scorpion, which has 5 sea eyes. Creatures with strange cloth, like a vision from a dream. But each is a masterpiece of evolutionary innovation. Under the shallow sea, early sponges and others. The structure of calcium carbonate secreted by rubber-making gradually formed a colloid. The seabed has become a crowded community. Inhabits burrowing creatures, direct feeding organisms, predators and corrosive organisms. They divided territories, competing for resources, adjusting to this suddenly becoming more dangerous, more everywhere, a more beautiful world. This explosion of life didn't happen overnight. They accumulate slowly over millions of years. But on a geological timescale, it's an instant. The Cambrian fossil record shows that the diversity and complexity of life has suddenly increased dramatically. Almost all major animal groups on Earth today. Its origins can be traced back to this period. Amputee, mollusk, annelids, chicken skins and early animals can be found in the Cambrian Ocean. Find their ancestors. The Earth itself is also for the prosperity of this life. Provided support. Oxygen levels continue to rise, enough to support a larger body. Advances for survival in more mobile animals. The vast front, the sea covers most of the continents. Provides warmth. Sub-nurturing environment. Become an ideal heartbed for complex ecosystems. Plate tectonics are slowly shifting the position of the continents. Create a new coastline. New habitat. It also provides an opportunity for biological isolation and Cambrian organisms. The most notable are the early hominids. Ancestors of all vertebrates. These are compact, simple fish-like creatures. They have a notochord inside them. The notochord is a flexible sensory structure that runs through the body. Although they have no bones and no bones, but animals are like fish. Amphibian. Reptile. The first steps in the evolution of birds and mammals. Cambrian explosion. The concept of mass extinction was also introduced for the first time. As competition intensifies, many lineages that once flourished are starting to disappear. Natural selection becomes a relentless force. Favorite those who are agile, intelligent, well-defended and adaptable creatures. The meaning of life is no longer just to survive. It's about competition and success, and sometimes they fail heroically. This new dynamic world lays the blueprint for all subsequent ecosystems. The food chain evolves into a complex food web. How energy flows through a biological community, with us today in modern forests. Coral reef, in the same vein as the complex system seen in the West Tree Prairie. Succession life change have to be related. The fate of a species, it could affect countless other species. Cambrian Ocean must be an amazing sight. A coral-like sponge. Paint the sea floor in a muted shade. Insect caves and trilobites. Footprints crisscross sediment. Jellyfish-like creatures pulsate in the upper waters, and strange shrimp and other predators with silent and deadly grace, cruising the deep sea. It's a world that's both strange and familiar, the basic rules of life as we know them. It was in this world that it was first written. By the end of the Cambrian season, about 485 million years ago, the many protagonists in this drama of early life all go extinct or evolve into new forms. Life continues to expand. The stage is set for complexity. And new disasters are inevitable. Life has made its grand debut on the world stage. But his journey has only just begun. In the silent mastery of the Cambrian day and night, the seeds of the future empire of life have been planted. Every bird that has ever soared. Every fish that has ever swum in the water. Every mammal that has ever walked on land. Their lineage can be traced back to these ancient oceans, right there. For the first time, life has bigger dreams. Move faster. The resistance is more tenacious and courageously envisioned a world that surpassed its ancestors. A world of simple living conditions. After the drama of the Cambrian explosion, life continues to move forward firmly into the unknown, or Taoji opens. The oceans are richer than ever before. Deeper and more vibrant. This period, on the foundations laid by the Cambrian period, it's going to grow. Diversity and complexity have reached new heights. The oceans rule the world. Shallow warm water, covering a vast area of every continent, transforming the Earth into the blue planet beneath these ancient waves. Coral reefs begin to form. The first true rubber-making organisms, primitive foreshot coral and bedboard coral. Fix yourself to a rocky outcrop. And the former seafloor. Over generations, their hard bones continue to grow and stack, forming complex living structures. It provides a haven for countless marine creatures, food sources and breeding grounds. These early colloids, although smaller than today's vast coral systems, simpler, but it represents a crucial leap in the evolution of life. Ecosystem. For the first time, it has a permanent three-dimensional structure in the crevices of the coral structure. Universal. Mollusk. Trilobites thrive on sea lily. Above the seabed, life gets richer. Trilobites still dominate the sediments. Now they have more clothes around them.